Hello React Native developers, I hope you are well. William here, recording from beautiful Zurich, Switzerland. In the first video, we've built the boilerplate project, and here we're gonna build the first part of our application, which is this onboarding slider, which should be quite interesting because of this nicely curved shape. And I think here we're gonna play a trick where we're gonna have two containers, one with the bottom right corner, which is rounded only. The bottom container has the top left corner rounded only, and we're gonna nicely animate, so create some underlay, nicely animate the background color of the underlay so it gives this fluid shape. So I hope that sounds good. Let's have a look. So here we have our component, and so we're gonna create a container, and we're gonna have one container is the slider, which will have a scroll view, and for each, so we'll have a slide component for each slide. I think there are 4 of these, and we'll have a footer component. So let me create some styles. So let's call this one footer. Slider, and this one is a container. So let me create some basic styles. So container flex 1. For the slider, I'm gonna use the golden ratio 0.61, and so the footer is gonna be flex 1. It's gonna take the remaining space. So let me import style sheet. And we need to create the slide component. So I'm gonna import it here. And let's create it here. So we're gonna have a container with some text. So we're gonna need a label, so which is a string. And also we need to know if it's aligned to the left or to the right. So I'm gonna create a property called right. So label right. I'm gonna put the label here. So we have label, and here we're gonna have right. So what are the labels? Relaxed, playful, eccentric, and funky. Okay. The scroll view here should be horizontal, and we should have a snap to interval of width, which we're gonna get from dimensions. Snap to interval, and deceleration rate fast. And I probably need to here create a container. So flex one is not gonna work, I think. Let me reload this properly. So I'm gonna set width to be the width of the screen. We're gonna need to create a style sheet as well. So this one looks good now. Here I'm gonna do width height is 61% of window height. The flash scrolling indicator we disable. Show horizontal scroll indicator false. Bounces false. That looks good. And we're gonna need to add a background color. Let me set it here. And the border bottom right radius, let's put, I don't know, 55. Yeah, it looks good. So now let's do this one for the footer. So the footer, we're gonna need an overlay. Which has the background color. Style sheet up to fill object, background color. Oops. That looks good. And then so this is the underlay, the overlay. We're gonna have here. So flex one, background color white, border top left radius 75. That looks good. Here should be white. So maybe here. Background color white, perfect. And so we're gonna animate on this color. So this one. So let me create. I will do this later. But we're gonna create an animation value, which is a color, and we're gonna animate on the color. Let's do the text alignment here. So what do we have? So we have bold 80 pixels. So here I can just use styles.contain container. Let's do the title. So this one should be interesting. We have, so font size, 80 pixels. Let me, styles.title. So font size 80 points. Font family. SF Pro Text bold. Font color white. And we're gonna rotate a container around it. So I'm gonna put this into a container. Let me just debug it here. That's interesting. I'm gonna use text align center. So that's in, okay, text the width of the screen, that's good. And let me also add a fixed height, maybe 100. And here I might, for this to work also nicely on Android, I think, have to set a line 8 of 80. To be confirmed. So now let's rotate this red box. So I want to center it here or here if it's right, and then rotate it by 90 or minus 90 degrees. So yeah, let's do it. Transform. So we know the height is 100 points. So we are going to translate on the y-axis by how much? So I'm gonna create a variable for this. Slide height. Okay. So we want slide height minus 100 point divided by 2. I think it should be good. Yeah. Super. And now we translate by minus half of the width on the x-axis. Minus width divided by 2. Or okay. Depending, or plus, depending if it's right. So let me write it here. Transform. So if it's right, it's minus 1. No, it's 1 or minus 1. Funky. Eccentric. No. Oh no, that is correct, but is eccentric over the... Which one is it supposed to be? Funky. Eccentric. And here should be playful. So playful has disappeared. Is it hidden? I guess it's hidden below eccentric. But that's okay, because we're gonna rotate now. So if it's right, we rotate by minus 90 degrees or 90 degrees. Of course. Let me just try something blind here. Should it be minus 50? So half of the height So let me, if it's right, with divided by 2 or minus width divided by 2 plus 50 and here minus 50. Looks good. Perfect. Isn't that cool? So now let's animate the color. I'm gonna remove this thing here to debug. I like it, that's cool. Let's animate the color. So this is gonna become an animated square view. We're gonna create a X animation value to drive the color animation and to drive also the sliding of this text here and to drive this animation as well. And here it's good because the next we can imperatively invoke the scroll view to scroll to some place. So that's kind of cool. So let me create a X value. So use value from redash. Should have redash installed. Oops. Reanimated. So on scroll event and the boilerplate also we get from redash. So we have on scroll is on scroll event and we give X. And for safety here, I mean, we are not gonna have any state changes, but for safety here also I should have a use. So use value is a lazy ref around the animation value. I should have the same actually for the scroll event. Use scroll event. Let me write a to-do for this. Okay. So now we have an X animation value that can drive the color interpolation. So we have background color is interpolate color from redash on the X value. And we have input range 0 with times 2 with times 3 output range. So we have a couple of colors. We have this one here. This one. This color. I'm confused. Why do I have two colors? Yeah, no. Okay, should be good. So this color. I'm not sure what this color is, but okay. And so we need to replace it where cyan is used. So in slider. So slider becomes animated slider. And we assign background color. And we have it here as well. So this becomes animated view. And we use the background color animated value. That's not working, and I know why. We need scroll event throttle to be 1. So this actually could be also part of the on-scroll boilerplate. So we could call it use scroll handler, and like to match it with pan gesture handler, and so we would have scroll handler. Okay. But that looks good, right? It looks like a nice fluid shape. So now let's use the animation value. Oh, before we do that, let's factorize the slide data, because we have the slide indexes here, the color label. So let's have a single source of truth quickly before we move to the next part. So slides, so we have label and color. So the label here is relaxed. Playful. Eccentric. And funky. So we can use it here to do the input range. So input range is slide, map, index, and it's going to be index times width. And for the color, we're going to return the color. So slide. And same here. And we're going to need the index as well. So we have slide. We need the label. Label, and we're going to use, we can use the index as key here, that's fine. So label, and right is if the modulo of index of 2 is false, is different than 0. And I can remove these here. It's aligned to the right. Modulo index of 0 is true, actually. It's different from 0. Okay. So looking good. Now let's do the bottom part. So we have a container here. Let me factorize this one in style. I'm going to create footer content. And let me factorize also the border radius here. So we only have to modify it at one place. Okay. And yeah, let's add some content, huh? So I think we have like, okay, we have this thing here, which we're gonna do last. But we have some footer slides. So how are we gonna call these? So it's data actually we can add here to the slides, this text, right? So and I'm gonna call it sub slide, I guess. I don't know. If you guys have better naming suggestions, I mean, my naming is a bit funky. I'm going like very fast to not make the video boring. So I'm definitely, you know, open to naming suggestions, but label, maybe I should rename this to title, and then we'll have subtitle and description. So title, subtitle, and description. So let me paste the data quickly. Okay, so now let's use it here. And maybe also it might be time to factorize the typography, but let's see. So we have slides, so we want the subtitle and the description, and we'll need also to know if it's the last or not. So I'm gonna call this one subslide. So we have a subtitle, description, and we should have last. And last is index equals slides.length minus 1. Okay, so let's create subslide, and we need the X animation value, which is gonna drive the translation. So let's create subslide. So title, subtitle, and last. And the X animation value, animated node, no, subtitle, description, last X. Okay, so subtitle, description. Let's create some styles. I disabled the timeline plugin, but because I found it to be a little bit too annoying. But I have to say now I'm quite tempted actually to reactivate it. And here we'll have subtitle. And here I probably need to factorize into a style guide or the typography, so subtitle, description, so here, oops, regular and semi-bold. Do we have semi-bold? Yes. Font family. Regular. Font size 24. Color. Okay, it's a bit bluish color, okay. No, but that's not... Is it the color? Okay, fair enough. And size 16. Line 8, 24. Interesting color. And okay. So actually we are not gonna pass X here. I'm gonna remove it. So should I use this container to animate, or should I create a sub-container? Yeah, let's try flex 1, no, flex direction row. And the width is width times slides.length plus 1. No. Okay. Here we probably need to add some padding. Or is it... Is that the padding size here, 44? Okay. Is that? Yeah. Wow, that's cool. I mean, I'm new to Figma. That's that was cool. Okay. And text align center. Probably here as well. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I'm new to Figma, but this is incredible. Okay. Now let's make it. Let's translate it. So transform. I'm tempted to do translate x is multiply x by -1. Yeah, looks good. So, should we do the button? Margin bottom. And okay, so we're gonna create our own button with a label. And the label is either next or let's get started. So is fits last, it's let's get started or next. And it's the variant. So we would have primary if it's last. So let's create a button component. So here, oops. I mean, I know already, because if I go back here, there's default. So I know there's already 3 variants. So I'm not gonna do a, I'm gonna do a variant is last, primary, or default. Export default as button. And so okay, so we have variant, which is default or primary, and label. Default variant. So button props, variant, label, and default variant. Is default. And we're gonna use rect button from React Native gesture handler, label here, text. I put a view container. Or can I add the styling to the rectangle button? I don't think so. Huh? I think so. Styles.container. Styles.label. Let's create it quickly. This one actually, okay. So border radius. $25. Height. $50 with 245. Background color. Oops. So we can create label here. the medium, I don't have it. I will install it later. 15 points. I'll use regular for now. No specified line 8, okay. So here we have background color and color here. Which depend on variant. So background color, if variant equals primary, we'll have the primary color of the UI kit. So again, here I really need to factorize everything into a style guide. And if not, okay. So the RGB of this color, 5%. So this, I think. No. Oh, I don't know. And color. If variant is primary, it's white. Or text body color. All of these need to be factorized into a source of truth, but okay. Much better. And we can add the on press. Oof, that's not But I don't think, can I do this somehow? I don't think so. Is this allowed? Ooh, that's cool. Okay, I'll take it. Can I remove this one? Perfect. Okay, let's just do the on press. So on press. The on press, we're gonna pass it down also here. It's getting dark, I need to be done soon. I think you are not gonna be able to see me anymore. So on press, and here on press, we're gonna have a scroll ref. So scroll use ref of animated.scrollView. Okay. And so if scroll.current exists, we do scroll.current get node scroll to x, and x is with times index animate animate it through. Let's have a look. It's not working. No. It's not scrolling. So this option, yeah, that looks good. Oh, no, of course. Oh my gosh. Index +1. So I really need to... Isn't that cool? And maybe later we could have it like bi-directional, so you can also swipe here. Why not? All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this session. Next up, we're gonna definitely factorize the styling, primary color, typography into a single style guide. Do this last screen here. And yeah, I think, and I'm thinking also maybe doing the sliding bi-directional. Why not? But I hope you guys enjoyed this session, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next one.